Hey everyone, it's a Phoam Ranger here with Phoam Ranger Sports. This episode we are recapping the Western Conference tournament and going over the postseason for the Mountain West for Bronco opponents. Also just talking men's basketball in general. So again, last time I did a video about men's basketball. It was after the quarterfinals. And so the semifinals, Utah State beat Nevada, and San Diego State edged out New Mexico. And the championship game, it was San Diego State over, it was Utah State over San Diego State in the 2026 Mountain West Conference Men's Basketball Tournament. MJ Collins was the tournament MVP. Head coach Eric Calhoun was the Coach of the Year. Mesa Falsalev was the Player of the Year. Carson Templin, Sixth Man of the Year. For Defense Player of the Year, out of San Diego State was Miles Bird. Draw Gibbs Lawhorn out of UNLV was the Newcomer of the Year. Freshman of the Year was Jake Hall of New Mexico. For the Broncos, Drew Fielder was named second team All Mountain West, and Dylan Andrews and Jeb Buchanan were both named honorable mention. In the NCAA selection show, Utah State turned out to be the only representative this season from the Mountain West in the Big Dance, getting a number 9 seed, and they'll be taking on Thursday, number 8 Villanova. Part of the reason why that is Gloria Navarez unintentionally sabotaging Mountain West a bit this season when she forced Grand Canyon to come in a year early. And losses by New Mexico and San Diego State to GCU ultimately impacted their ability to play in the NCAA tournament. Without those losses, maybe could have had 2, maybe 3 bids, but because of Gloria Navarez and the conference committee decided to force in GCU, that turned out not to be the case. San Diego State, Boise State, and GCU were all given invites, I believe, to the NIT. All 3 declined. San Diego State's Brian Dutcher said it didn't make sense for them at this point to play in the NIT, especially with how banged up the team is right now. He did say that had they been in the NCAA term, they would have played. Again, a lot more financial incentive to do so. For the same time, maybe not as much, because of what Gloria Navarez and the conference did to the departing schools last year when it came to distribution of the postseason funds. Reportedly, 80% of all postseason winnings to the departing schools were withheld. That includes Boise State's playoff appearance, the money for the playoff appearance for making the Fiesta Bowl against Penn State last year. Same thing for Boise State, Colorado State, and Utah State and San Diego State last year for making the NCAA tournament. A lot of those winnings were withheld by the conference as well. For Boise State, it makes sense not to do it because this has been a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of year. Again, this year you already have 2 really bad losses on the ledger again to start off the year, coming against Division II Hawaii Pacific, and then in the first round of the conference tournament to San Jose State. A third bad loss would really torpedo a lot of the excitement and probably some hope for the team next year in terms of sales and stuff like that for first year in the Pac-12. Would definitely torpedo some momentum and stuff like that, especially when it comes to selling season tickets, the reseating at Xmal Arena that's going on. That would definitely hurt a lot had the Broncos played in the NIT and lost, especially in first round. Yeah, they would not have helped out matters at all. So, with that said, let's look at Mountain West Conference teams and Bronco common opponents that are still playing. So, earlier today in the first round of the NIT, Wyoming went on the road to play at number 3 Wichita State. They lost by 4 points. In the first 4 in the NCAA tournament, number 11 Texas beat Bronco opponent NC State 68-66. Right now 3:45 left in the game. UNLV leads on the road by 11 points against UC Irvine. Well, now 8 points. Well, 7 I should say. Hopefully UNLV can hold on to win. We keep going in the NIT. Tomorrow, Utah Valley, Bronco opponent. They are number 4 in the NIT bracket. They will host George Washington at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Mountain West Conference member number Nevada, who is the number 2 seed in the NIT in the first round, as an 8.5 point favorite, hosts Murray State at 8. The 9 o'clock tomorrow night, Colorado State, who comes in number 3 in the NIT, hosts St. Joseph's. Thursday, the 19th at 5:35 p.m., number 7 St. Mary's, an opponent of the Broncos being non-conference, opens as a 3.5 point favorite against number 10 Texas A&M. Friday at 2:10 p.m., number 9 Utah State, as a 1.5 point favorite, takes on number 8 Villanova in the first round of the NCAA tournament. And with Wichita State winning today on Saturday, time to be determined, they will play at number 2 Oklahoma State, the NIT. One thing that is cool to note is that both Vandal women and men, again, first for both programs a little bit, won the Big Sky, and both will be in the NCAA tournament. But for both teams, it's probably going to be a quick bounce out. In terms of the women's side, one thing was shocked a bit was that women aren't in any postseason tournament. Looks like they just fell short of making the WNIT field this season. Would love to have seen them play a few more games, maybe have a night game like Thursday or Friday, so that we could have got off work, went over there. But unfortunately, the women's season is over for the Broncos, but not for Bronco women opponent San Francisco. They host Utah Valley 7 p.m. on the 19th in the first round of WNIT. On the 20th, the Colorado State, the Mountain West Women's Tournament winners, will take on number 5 Michigan State at 5:30 p.m. Michigan State opens as an 18.5 point favorite over Colorado State. And on 21st, number 10 Colorado, who the Broncos lost to on the road by double digits, will take a number 7 Illinois at 7:30 p.m. Illinois is favored by 3.5 points. So we'll see how the conference teams and Bronco opponents do in the NCAA and NIT, WNIT, and W and Women's March Madness games. Excuse me. It would be also interesting to see how the team looks next year. I do think, as I mentioned in the last video of the men's, regarding the men's basketball team, I did mention about last Friday on Bronco Nation News Live with BJ Rains. His father was signaling that they may be looking to have Jamin go in the portal, getting his been here 2 years, and I'm really thinking they're leaning toward actually having Jamin go in the portal. And I think if he does that, it'll probably be closer at home at one of the Indiana schools. And obviously, probably not Indiana Hoosiers or Baylor, or not Purdue. Maybe Notre Dame. Maybe we could get in a Baylor or Indiana State or IUPUI or Purdue, Fort Wayne, or another plethora of Division I schools in Indiana or nearby. I think would be pretty cool. Selfishly, I wouldn't want him if he gets granted another year by the NCAA to play for Boise State, but I'd absolutely love for him and be happy for him and his family if he decides, if he gets an additional year, to play closer to home. Like Illinois or Indiana or Ohio, a school near Lafayette, much closer to Lafayette, because I think his parents only got to maybe 17 games total in his 2 years here. Again, like one of them was, of course, a game at Butler. In terms of coming out west, I think that's probably maybe 4 or 5 or 6 college basketball crown. But yeah, would definitely love to, if he does decide to go to Portal, if he's close to home, I'd absolutely be happy and love it for him. In terms of other Portal, maybe Peanut Carmichael if Leon decides to keep RJ. Well, I mean, if RJ gets his waiver approved and stays along there in the middle, Peanut might be the odd man out. If both decide to stay, because I think Leon's going to want to get a player who can not only be a much more prolific 3-point shooter, but also get someone who is really good on D, really athletic, really fast. Because Peanut is not that. I mean, he could become that, but again, we just wrapped up his sophomore year. Not totally certain how much more athletic or fast he can get, especially on defensive side. That was a bit of a struggle for him even this year. So if RJ comes back, gets a waiver and comes back, and if Andrew Meadows decides to come back, Peanut might be third man out. As mentioned, RJ, he might decide to do a bit of what Cam Martin did, which was, yes, he brought his brother with him the 1 year played here, but RJ could decide to transfer to Montana State and finish his collegiate career out, play his final year with his brother at Montana State. He could do that, though again, it sounds like that he is leaning towards staying at Boise State. He loves the university, loves the bar scene here. So I think if he does get the extra year, he's definitely going to stay here. Julian Bowie, maybe could see in Portal. Again, it depends on what Leon does. Like if Leon decides to get another point guard out of the Portal like he did with Dylan Andrews this year, Julian Bowie might decide to go Portal. Because I think this year he was thinking maybe could have started, but then they probably realized he would have been playing more backup role as a number 2 to Dylan, and that was before he shut it down with the team's permission and team support. You deal with the grief of losing his dad. So next year he's definitely going to want to play more significantly. And again, if we get a guy from the Portal, from the Power Conference, I could see him in the Portal, or maybe might not if it's just a 1 year Portal guy. Maybe we'll see if he gets a waiver that this year doesn't count, so next year he could be like a sophomore again. Then maybe he might stay. But I don't really know if we're going to have 3 point guards on the team next year. Yeah, so again, those are the only players I think could potentially go Portal. Again, we'll see about some of the others like Lathan. No, he didn't really see the floor much. I think he redshirted this year. But again, like this year, Chris Lockett, in between the postseason last year and start of the season this year, he decided to transfer out after being program only 1 year. Again, he was supposed to be really talented point guard for us, and he left. So we'll see what happens with Ethan Lathan if he decides he wants to stay. Same Noah Bettinger. He redshirted this year. We'll see if he stays, because again, we probably got like 2 or 3 high schoolers that are going to join the program over the summer as well. For certain, I think Spencer Ahrens and Drew Field are definitely going to stay. RJ Keene's probably going to stay. Same with there in the middle, so that's 4 spots already. I mean, Brennan Ramirez probably will. So there's probably 5. He was only a junior this year, I believe, so that's 5 spots at like 13. So that leaves only 8 spots available. And again, like we got Jen Buchanan as well as AJ Neto and Pina Carmichael, so that's 8. So again, those are 3 that maybe could go portal. So I mean, yeah, so that's 5 that should be back next year, 3 that might go portal, and again, a lot of the younger guys, like again, Ethan Lathan or Noah Benninger, not certain what they'll do. Yeah, but again, you only have like about 14 or 15 spots. Well, now we got a third of them that are proud that I'd say with 95% certainty will be back next season. And again, a lot of that do have significant play time, like Drew Fielder and Andrew Meadow and RJ Keene. If all 3 of those ones come back, then they'll have significant playing time behind them. And if Jen Buchanan decide, well, especially if Andrew Meadow and RJ Keene decide to stay, that'll be huge. But yeah, we'll see what happens during this off season, especially as we get closer to the portal opening in a month. Again, that's when the portal officially opens. Players, before it opens, can indicate, I'm officially entering the portal or that I am declaring for the portal. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But again, 3 I definitely think have or at least 2. Well, 1 definitely that I think is going to be Jen Buchanan. Again, probably a little homesick. Probably wants to finish his career closer to home. Again, 2 maybes in the portal I'd see RJ Keene. If he wants to play here with his brother at Montana State, that's possible. And again, Julian Bowie. That's more 50-50. It depends upon what Liam wants to do. If he decides to get another PG, another point guard out of the portal from the Power 5, if it's multi-year, that increases exponentially. If it's maybe 1 year, talk to Julian about, just say, hey, just bring him in just to allow you to get more experience and to help you develop a little more. Same with AJ Neto. After this year, it's going to be your show. But if it's not that, then I'd see a possibility where Julian Bowie might hit the portal, because I think after this season, he really wants to play for a program that will play him and will give him meaningful time going forward. So, yep, we'll see what happens with the portal as we get closer and closer to it, and when people start, when student athletes start officially putting themselves into the portal.